Welcome back here on the Senior Network. We are now joined by Dr. Robert Brouillard, Medical Director, Hospice Care of the Lowcountry. Great to see you again.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Well, tell me a little bit. You were joking before the show at why, after all these years and your big career and you've retired and now you're back at it again working with hospice.
Well, there are a couple of reasons. One is my golf game stinks. And seriously, the other reason is that I practiced medical oncology for about 35 years in San Diego.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of dealings with patients who didn't survive their illness.
Sure.
And actually got involved with a not-for-profit hospice in San Diego as one of their regional medical directors.
Okay.
Came out here, and my sister-in-law said, Hospice Care of the Lowcountry is looking for somebody. So I met with Jenny Brasington and managed to get a license to practice medicine in South Carolina.
Okay.
And started working with them.
Now, was there any special different type of certifications that you needed for hospice?
Well, you need a license.
Sure, medical
to practice.
license.
You need a DEA certificate, Drug Enforcement Administration.
Okay. All right.
And Medicare highly recommends that you undergo some sort of a certification process. Now, I'm board certified in 3 specialties besides hospice medical director.
Okay.
And for each of those boards, I took a period of 2 to 3 years of training.
Wow.
And the board certification is kind of like the final exam.
I understand.
And then you're recognized in that specialty. Well, most hospice medical directors are like me. This is something they do in their retirement because they want to be involved. And therefore, I didn't have any specialized training. So I studied.
Yeah.
And I was taught by the people that I work with.
Yeah.
And decided to take the examination. And Medicare encourages hospice medical directors to be certified. The reason for that is it's a demonstration of competency in the various areas that the medical director has to do with. It's a way for the public and our patients to say, well, okay, this is a person I can trust because he's been certified by a governing body.
Right. Well, and that brings up a great point. So tell us, kind of the viewers that may not know, what is the role of a medical director?
There are many.
Okay.
My primary goal is to ensure the proper care of our patients.
Right.
Up-to-date, appropriate care. To do that, I see the patients most of the time.
Yeah.
It's been recently it's been a little different, but
Are you doing any kind of Zooms or is it?
I much prefer to go see the patient at their home.
Absolutely.
But we do what's called telemedicine.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Or face-to-face
I got you.
Visits.
Okay.
That way I get to know the patient. They're just not being described on a piece of paper.
Exactly.
And it's good for them to know that their physician who's in charge of their care knows them.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. The second thing is to supervise the use of drugs. We use a lot of different medications which are particular to hospice, to provide consultation and supervision of our nurses.
Yep.
I also have administrative responsibilities to make sure that we comply with the Medicare regulations for hospice operations. And that's pretty much sums it up.
I'm sure it almost sounds simple, but I know how in-depth that really can be. And the layers that you focus on. Now, that brings up a point of, you mentioned nurses, so you have a group of nurses, obviously, that kind of report to you, is that correct, from a clinical standpoint?
Yes.
Okay. Social worker?
We have 3 social workers. We have a chaplain. We have a music therapist. We have pet therapy. We have physical therapy. We all meet once a week.
Yeah.
On Zoom and go over each patient.
Yeah.
And all of those areas of specialty.
Nonprofit?
We are not for profit.
Okay.
We depend upon the community here in Beaufort County.
Sure.
And they are extraordinarily generous. We would not be able to provide all these various services if it weren't for our community.
And you have a very large volunteer base, from what I understand.
We have, I believe, about 130, 140 folks who want to be part of this process. They visit patients when appropriate, provide companionship,
Yeah.
And help a little bit of help around the home.
Well, that says a lot for your organization to have that many people volunteering in a small community like this. That really says a lot.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I know from your reputation there, from a standpoint of, you mentioned earlier, you actually go out. I know with the pandemic things have gotten a little different, but you make house calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
So people say, why do you do this? Why aren't you playing golf? Well, I covered that earlier.
Yeah.
And the reason I do it is after 30 minutes to an hour with the patient and the family, when I get ready to leave, I often have the patient or the spouse look me in the eye and say, thank you.
Wow. Yeah.
That really makes me feel good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's a large part of the reason why I do this.
Keeps you doing this, right?
Keeps me, it's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
you're learning every day, and that keeps you alive.
Yeah. Well, from the senior care community, we thank you. We appreciate everything you do out there. Thank you for joining us today, okay?
Well, thank you very much.
Please email us any comments, questions you may have here on the Senior Network, where senior care experts come together. We'll see you the next time.